everyone, how are you doing? What a day, what a day. I'm trying not to sound too loud and boisterous here, but I am very excited. We had a super duper day in the market here, October 14th, and this is probably going to really go right into, a lot of what we're looking at the rest of the week here. So kind of what we saw here, yesterday the market came back and, this dead market that everyone thought we were going to have, well, that wasn't really the case. Today was a bit of a mixed day with what happened today. Starting off with the market this morning, everything was in red. I mean, the market was selling off. It was like, oh boy, what's going on here? And then as we got further in the day, the market really started to show strong. I mean, it was like somebody was just pumping steroids in the market. Well, what was going on too was that these banks, like I said yesterday, the bank stocks were starting to release quarterlies, and they're good. These quarterlies that came out today with Wells Fargo, JP, Citi, Domino's, for God's sake. They're good. So this really, put a little bit of a shock in the market and they weren't just like, okay, they were actually like above where they need to be. So the market really started to do well today. Now the S&P, still at all-time highs here. This is nothing, to be sad about, but what we're seeing right now is that the market is trying to run. The market is looking for any excuse right now just to go. It's just looking for the excuse, just go. And right now, obviously, I want to talk about BigBear. I want to talk about Richtech. These two stocks are trying so hard to get to $10. And if the market just is allowed to go here, which I think that's probably what we're looking at here, the market is showing strong signs of what it's trying to do, then, BigBear and Richtech here are obviously going to run. So let's talk about it. Friends, I hope you're well. I really do mean that. I'm probably I know I'm gonna say stuff that I've already said, but I try not to repeat myself too much, but Lord knows I'm going to. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's go right into Richtech first, because I talked about BigBear first yesterday, but let's talk about Richtech, because Richtech kind of shocked me more today, to be honest. So BigBear kind of started the day with a run, and it did well. But Richtech, talking about Richtech here, it started the day really rough, and it was like, oh boy, Richtech is really struggling here. I was like, oh man, maybe we're going to hit back down this high $5 range. As the day progressed, once we got past, 10 o'clock here, the market really started to pick up the pace of what was going on here. People were like, okay, but it was really right around 2 o'clock where Richtech went from, second gear to fourth gear. And that's when we went from $6.50, which was okay. It was like, we're doing okay here, all the way to $7, over $7 here, just real fast, around 2:30. So with that, Richtech is back up now, sold off here after hours, back down to the 666 range, playing around there, even after hours, back up in the 670 range. But, Richtech is obviously trying to get into this $7-8 place right now. And what's interesting too, that you've probably seen this if you looked on StockTwits, or, there's not much news of it. It's actually hard to find this, but there is something happening that I have definitely seen, that this is a real thing that's happening. Richtech will be at this big event here at the end of October, and they will be talking about their products. There will be other big companies there too. So I don't think this is going to be a moment where Richtech's going to walk away with some huge conglomerate deal, but it will be good publicity, and there'll probably be some good articles on it. So it will be good to see Richtech just get some more good news. And that's the thing, like, there's no real bad news coming down the pipeline here with Richtech, because they're not producing quarterlies until January, and that next quarterly in January should be good. It should be pretty good here because of those two deals they've gotten over the summer, which, and we've still got a chunk of time here the rest of the year, and no doubt about it, Richtech could maybe get another deal here. So that's something that really would just, ultimately pump the stock up into this $10 position. Like I said, Richtech and BigBear are looking for any excuse right now just to go, just to go. And today with these bank stocks releasing good quarterlies, and we're not done yet. We've still got 2 days of heavy quarterly release. Let me look on the calendar real fast just to see what is, so tomorrow there's more of these. You've got Bank of America, you've got ABT, PGR, there's a handful more tomorrow, and then Thursday there's a handful more, and then Thursday's one of the big ones where the chip maker TSM is coming out with theirs, so that's going to be a really big moment too, see what's going on there, which more than likely NVIDIA's been doing well, so they're going to continue to do well because, obviously if you know what's going on there. But back to Richtech here. I think this is just a golden goose of a moment here. And for the person going, like Richtech is way overpriced. This is ridiculous. Why would you spend $6, $7, even $8 on this stock right now? I'm in agreement. I completely agree. But what you have to realize right now is that this is a situation where Richtech is just in this AI bubble. It's in the AI bubble, okay? And when you're talking about an AI bubble, anything that is attached to that is going to do well right now. There are stocks that are running insanely hot right now that are so priced over, it is insane. I mean, the argument could be made with BigBear, and there's people making that argument. Trust me, I see people leaving comments and saying things in chat rooms where, people are like, why are people so obsessed with BigBear? Why are people so obsessed with Richtech? And there's plenty of other little AI stocks that are getting this kind of conversation. But it's the moment in time where we find ourselves right now at the stock market where AI stocks, as much people want to put down this AI bubble situation that we're in right now, that is the truth. We're in a bubble. That it's okay. But with that, anything related to AI is going to do well. So look at this. Look right here on this candlestick chart. So now today we have 2 of these patches, 2 green patches here. So 1 and 2 right in this purple right now. Undoubtedly, last time we saw this, if you go right down to where we had the first big push here, look at this. Look what this is doing. I'm not saying this is maybe going to happen, but I think there's a run coming on the market at the end of October. Regardless, that's kind of what I think here. And I mean a good run. I mean like things are going to explode here for the good. So Richtech, before that the last big run we had here a week and a half ago, when Richtech ran well into $7, almost $8, we had a very similar situation of what we're going through right now. What we went through then, we're going through now. So one thing that I look for in the stock market is clues. Like I've said this time and time again, but being someone who will do well in the market, you have to be a detective with this stuff. And right now, I would be willing for me to say, for my own sake, that we are seeing another run be set up right under our nose. And some people are going to see this and some people are not. This isn't a situation of the right math, the right numbers, what is even real in the market right now. This is essentially another stock that is highly manipulated and highly pushed. And if you understand that, it's going to help you more. Okay. I don't say it to be mean. I say that to say Richtech is in this very good thread right now of, yes, it could do very well into the future. Yes, this company is getting deals. Yes, robotics is going to probably do very well into next year's market. And right now, Richtech is in this very controlled moment right now with investors, with retail investors, where if you're able to get in these huge swing trades with it, I would take advantage of it. And this is kind of the third one at this point. So, back at the beginning of September is when the NVIDIA news came out. And then, Richtech went from $1 to $2, $3 and some change. Then we had a little bit of a moment there. And then boom, we went to this 4, 5, 6 range sell off. And now that sell off here, that was that third one, that 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up into that $7 position here that we had last week, and then now we've had sell-off, and so now it looks like we're building into this fourth run here if the market's going to allow it. Now, like I said, the market is looking for every excuse possible right now to just go, and Richtech is going to do well off of that too. So things that could just obviously pop off with Richtech is they get some kind of good publicity, news, deal. The company releases a statement, product, who knows. But with that, the thing that should bring you some sort of relief to your mind here is that Richtech is still controlled by investors. I don't think that's a bad thing. People get upset with that kind of stuff. It's like, it's a meme stock. It's too controlled. It's too, there's what is wrong with that? There's plenty of stocks that I will tell you, hey, these are things that you should be buying for long term. There's plenty of ETFs. There's plenty of stocks, SoFi, Palantir, down the line, bank stocks, for God's sakes, that buy them, hold on to them forever. They'll do well for you. You will make money off of them. Richtech right now is still in this unknown area, and that's okay. I think when you invest in a company, you should have these moments of clarity. Don't make something out that make it into something that's not. With Richtech, Richtech, they're not making a lot of money. Yeah, they need more deals. The market is still not completely shifted into the moment of robotics, but I think that is coming here, especially next year with Optimus coming to the world, essentially, where Tesla will release their robot Optimus, and I think a lot of people are going to start to look at robotics different, especially in the stock market. So I think that's where a lot of the chunk of shares that are being bought up right now, especially at this low range, where people are going like, I'm just going to take a chance and I'm going to buy Richtech anything under $10 right now, and I'm going to hold it going into next year, because we could see a shift in the market next year. And I swear that's what we're seeing right now. I literally just had a conversation with a friend about this yesterday, where I was like, do you see what I'm seeing with this market right now? Obviously chip software still heavily sought after, and we're about to go into earnings again, and we're about to probably see Nvidia, the chip makers from the chip manufacturers, to Palantir, to all these other AI companies do well with earnings again. That's what it looks like we're going into here. But with that, there's a lot of attention right now on this other bottom level of the markets, things that people have not been paying attention to. Robotics are starting to get a lot more attention, these robotic stocks. Now, obviously, Richtech has been getting a lot of attention here lately off of deals, partnerships, things like that. Okay, but that's helping. That's good. That is the good sauce in there. And then you have this, you have robotics, then you have data centers. Data centers are getting so much attention right now. I mean, I don't know if anybody's been looking at Applied Digital, but good God, I mean, that was a $5 stock here at the beginning of the year, and I was like, I think this is going to a $10, $15 stock, $20 stock the most. That thing's almost $40 at this point. But people are buying into what they think the next fold is going to be here in the market. Even quantum computing stocks. I know I sound like a broken record, but there's a part of me where I go like, yes, we're in this AI bubble. Obviously, we can, if a new company were to come to the market tomorrow called, Paper AI, it would get a run on it. It would do. People are like, what's Paper AI? Okay. They make Paper AI. Sure, I'll buy it. That is literally where a lot of people are going right now with the market. They're just like AI, and they're looking for any cheap AI stock that has any positivity around it. Okay, great, good. If you understand that, this market's going to do well for you, because you're going to understand where to get in and out of plays. Okay, so I swear I'm not saying anything negative about Richtech or BigBear. Like I'm not. I think these two companies obviously have a future. That's why I keep talking about them. That's why my attention is on them. Obviously, right now, especially with Richtech, Richtech is setting up key moments for investors to have huge moments of swings on it. Allocate those winnings, into maybe other shares. Maybe you need money for your bank account. I don't know. Or maybe you're just waiting for, Richtech to run up, take profit, sells back down, buy it, and then repeat the process. That is probably what we're going to see a lot of here. Right now, I think a lot of us can see where the market is going at least to the beginning of November, because even in the beginning of November, we're still having some massive quarterlies be released with massive companies that there's a lot of expectation with. But I would highly expect what I think is going to, I'll just say it, I think that the market's going to do very well the next few weeks here, okay? now obviously there's going to be tidal waves, but I think somewhere from, the first week and a half from November to the end of November, there will probably be some kind of maybe sell-off there. Okay, now obviously that's a lot of news cycle in between that time span. We'll see what happens, but I would imagine there will be somewhat of a little bit of a reset in the market at that point. The next thing that could happen that we're expecting here is this third rate cut, and more than likely, even today, the bond market, all this stuff, I haven't even talked about that. Everything was just out of whack today, and inflation came back insanely high, a certain kind of inflation that the market did not like. But this is where the Feds are really going to have to say, like, okay, maybe we haven't been aggressive enough on these rate cuts. So even this one coming up here, could the Feds, I think most of us are expecting a 25 basis rate point cut. But, I mean, what if they do one, what if they do a 5? That would be wild. And then and then say, like, hey, we're still going to do one in December. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that? But I mean, what do you think how do you think the market would react to that? It would go crazy. So, yeah, friends, I think this Richtech was a win today. Obviously, I mean, there's people. I'm already seeing comments where people are like, "Oh my God, like this is crazy. Like, I'm so glad I got into Richtech, all this stuff." I just love to see people win in the market, and I think when you start to really focus on things in the market, especially when you get obsessed, it's okay to get obsessed with things in the market. It will do well for you, I promise you, if you really obsess over a small amount of stocks. I have plenty of stocks that I invest in, and some of them I really don't even look at. I buy Tesla every week. I buy but I don't look at it. I buy Amazon every week, but I don't look at it because they're just long-term plays. They're just there. I know they're going to continue to rule the world for, as long as we're here, our generations way beyond us. But those are plays that I know are going to work. There's certain plays that I'm just stocks that I'm obsessed with on a daily basis that I'm looking and I'm watching. Those are the ones I talk about a lot. All right, so let's talk about BigBear. So, just to wrap up Richtech, I mean, incredible day. Congratulations to everyone. But I do think we could see, I'm curious to see where this market's going to go tomorrow. Richtech obviously set up very well for the start of tomorrow. So we'll see if we get this $9 position here this week. I'm curious what we're gonna see here. It's looking pretty spicy. All right, so BigBear, sweet BigBear. We've got quarterlies potentially, what it says here. That's estimating here. 21 days out. November 4th. That's when we're supposed to see them here. And I don't want to talk too much about the quarterlies. I am very emotionally mixed on the quarterlies. I don't know if they're going to pass these quarterlies. I really don't. But the thing that I am excited about, and I wasn't this excited about this 30 days ago, because 30 days ago I was like, oh God. Right now, BigBear has locked in 2 more significant deals, and plus these big buy-ins from investor firms. So right now, even if this next quarterly is soft, not what it needs to be, I still think we're going to do well going into the end of the year here, because BigBear has achieved these latest deals that could hopefully, really push up Q4. Okay. So I don't know that 2025 is going to be a year financially where BigBear is going to achieve a positive quarterly, but nonetheless, it has achieved getting great deals. The one thing that I see about BigBear right now is that I saw this with Palantir 2 years ago, and you're still seeing it, but right now it's a little harder to see because Palantir has become this huge monstrosity of what it is. And this isn't me comparing Palantir to BigBear. So for the person like, it's not what I'm saying. It's not. I'm not even talking about software. I'm not talking about company. I'm just saying this road, because if you follow stocks and obsess over them, you'll see certain roads, similar roads where, stocks will follow. Okay. So right now with BigBear, it's not even so much the money that I'm really focusing on. Obviously, we want BigBear to make money. We want them to have massive deals. But there's something else going on here that's so important right now with BigBear. And that is, the more deals they get, it's promoting them. Okay, let me explain this. Back 3 years ago at this point, essentially, as crazy that is to say, when Palantir was still this, $15, $20 stock, Palantir was essentially started to get these government contracts. Off of those, that was a huge, flag up in the air saying, hey, we're Palantir, this AI company. Still, we're considered to not be, anything special by Wall Street. We're, still just nothing. But we're getting these defense deals. And even at that time, they were very aggressive defense bills. With that happening, you saw something else start to take place. Quarterlies weren't massive 3 years ago. They were good. They were doing well. But Palantir started to get more deals from different companies. They were getting, sought after by more than just defense deals. So what I'm saying is, with BigBear just getting more deals this year, just getting these buckets of deals, I think this is going to bring in the barrels of deals. That's probably a terrible terminology, but what I'm trying to say is that as long as BigBear keeps getting deals here, this is going to put their name out there with more headhunters wanting their service, their product, to where, hopefully 2026 can maybe double what they're getting in business. And when that happens, we made it. We did it. Through all this crap we've been through this year with BigBear, if BigBear, and a lot of us are doing well off BigBear, I'm not here saying we're not. This has been a vicious, emotional year with BigBear. I am right there with you, friends. We've been through a lot, and trust me, I have gotten all of the threats, all of the thank yous, all of the comments from BigBear throughout the year, okay? But this is why I've tried to be so honest with BigBear, because if I say something negative, people are like, "Argh." If I say something positive, there's always the negative met with. So it's just, I really am just trying to, look at this plain as day and see what's going on here. But I really think that could be the secret sauce too with BigBear, to where if they can just keep getting more deals, they're going to get more deals off those deals. Does that make sense? I think that's a lot of what we're going to see, because we saw that with Palantir. That is what happened a lot with Palantir these past 2-3 years, where Palantir was just, I remember, because Palantir was this company that was like, yeah, they're getting these defense deals. They're really good deals. They're lasting for a long, lengthy amount of time. But then Palantir started to get different deals. And that was a lot of the negativity around BigBear at the beginning of the year, where, you were seeing a lot of articles come out like, yeah, they're getting some deals, but essentially they only have like 3 customers. That's not good. Which, no, that's not good. That's not good at all. They need more. So I hope that BigBear, that's what we could see going in 2026. And right now, business is getting more aggressive with them. I really try to go after stocks with a double-edged sword. Listen, we're putting our money in this. This is money that we use to feed our families, to, brighten our future, to go on vacations, take care of our loved ones. I don't ever want to be one of these people in here just saying like, yeah, you're going to do well. Just put everything. You gotta talk about the negative stuff too. Now, I say that because now I sound like a worm, because Palantir, like, there's not too much negative I'm gonna say about Palantir. I think Palantir is like the golden goose of the stock market right now, because they keep getting freaking deals and partnerships. So that, I will never say anything negative right now about Palantir. But BigBear, yeah, there's still work to do, okay? And I think we're starting to see the beginning stages of something very special happen here. Friends, I want it to work. I'm hopeful that it'll work. And I think BigBear is doing very well considering where it could be. Back at the end of last year, 2024, if you were there listening to me yap my gums about BigBear, my expectations and hopes were with BigBear by the end of 2025 is that we would at least be at a $6 to $7, $8 at the most stock price. Well, we're about there. It looks like we're going to get that. We've gotten it. Can we end the year somewhere around there? But to BigBear to pay off debt, do that, which they've done this year. They've paid down a lot more debt. They've talked about that. And 3, just to pass a quarterly. I don't know that they're going to do that. I may not get 3. We'll get 2. We may not get 3. So talking about the stock share price, just to wrap it up, because if I don't talk about stock share price, somebody's going to chew me out. This is great. You know, BigBear is doing essentially what I thought it was going to do. This is why I said yesterday, I think we're going into $9. We blew past that today. We went well into $9. BigBear is looking for 10. And this will be the healthiest $10 position we've ever had with BigBear. Why do I say that? I say that because the last $10 position we saw at the beginning of the year with BigBear, that was a pop. That was a bam, 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 bam. Catch it if you could. Some people didn't catch it. Some people caught it. They stayed in it too late, and they didn't make the profit. And maybe they've been here since then. They're like, please, God, bring $10. So right now, it has taken an army, a force of unbelievable strength to get back up into this 7, 8, 9, and looks like we could be going $10 range. So this is a very special moment for BigBear investors. This is a very organic 10. This is a very worked at $10 position right now. If we can see this by maybe this week, maybe next week, but this is fantastic. This is fantastic. I mean, this is a strong push right now. What we're seeing right now. So, friends, I just want to say congratulations. You know, I hope that was understandable. I drank a lot of coffee. I probably shouldn't have drank that much coffee. I talk fast and, you know, loud, but I think that's what we're looking at with BigBear. You know, deals are good, obviously. We want money. BigBear needs money. That's what you want with any stock you invest in, for them to make money, obviously. But I think too, and this could be what's happening a lot right now because we're seeing it at a much fierce rate this year. Deals are compounding. Deals are good. Deals talk to other deals. CEOs talk to other CEOs. This is what's happening. I don't think it's by any coincidence that they keep getting defense contracts. I don't think it's by any coincidence that they keep getting these different airline deals, which I think is very underestimated. Am I saying that right? Underestimated, to where that could go next year, and two, just some other random things we've seen this year. So this is positive. This is very positive. Richtech, if Richtech can continue to do what it's doing with this hype, with what it could go into, you know, with these next quarterlies, and if Richtech comes out with a positive quarterly here in June, oh, it's on. Oh, it is on. It is on. That will be everything it needs right there. That will be the excuse of the year for this thing to continue to do well, 100%. So yeah, friends, I'm gonna shut up now. Take care of yourself. Bye, everyone.